say goodbye to Waynette Chan. Retiring chief of staff, Waynette is not just my chief of staff, she's been a friend for 17 years, and we have traveled together, we speak regularly, not on city business, and I'm looking forward to continuing to do that. I will miss her in the day-to-day operations of the city of Houston. I did reorganize my executive team in order to share the responsibilities across different disciplines, and I want to thank two sitting department directors, Kelly Dow and Harry Hayes, for continuing their regular responsibilities, but picking up some of the oversight responsibilities as well. Kelly Dow was already a member of my senior staff, at my morning conference table each day, but particularly proud that Harry Hayes agreed to pick up oversight of the major operating departments. The directors don't report to them necessarily. They ultimately report to me. The buck stops with me. But they have agreed to make sure that they keep eyes and ears on what's happening in those departments, and then so that I can know what I need to know timely in between my regular meetings with all of those directors. So in light of their new oversight responsibilities, Mr. Dow and Mr. Hayes have received new titles within my administration. They're still, again, directors of their respective departments, but Mr. Dow is the new Chief Business Officer, Mr. Hayes is the Chief Operating Officer. Mr. Icken maintains his responsibilities as Chief Development Officer, and Janice Evans, who is my Communications Director, has assumed some additional oversight responsibilities as well, and I'm acknowledging the very strong policy role that she already occupies, so she's the Chief Policy and Communications Officer for the City of Houston. I do understand that there was a little bit of confusion yesterday. The oversight of the fire department, and that is the fire and EMS operations, are now with Mr. Hayes because I put the major operating departments together. Solid waste, public works, police, and fire, and then fleet, which is the primary support for those operations. But acknowledging the fact that by by state law and by our internal policies, Dr. Peirce is actually an independent medical authority within the City of Houston. Dr. Peirce will continue to report to and through Andy Icken, where it was originally combined. Andy had the fire EMS and Dr. Peirce, and I had clarified that Dr. Peirce was staying with Mr. Icken. But other than somehow an internal document that I typed on my own computer in order to clarify who was reporting to whom, suddenly became that I was trying to privatize EMS. So let me say this for about the 15th time publicly. I am not interested in splitting fire and EMS, nor am I interested in privatizing our EMS services in the City of Houston. Put a period at the end of that sentence.
They also talk about, Mayor, not just...
People make stuff up all the time.
We were trying to, so the private, so then there was some talk about maybe not privatizing, but making new EMS employees, instead of classified under the fire department, to be municipal employees, so they would be under the municipal
No.
function. That's also not.
I'm not interested in that. Now, there may be council members who are there. That is not anything that is coming out of the mayor's office. I mean, I don't know how they jump from A to Z and way off the cliff, but yeah, it's not happening. This is simply, Dr. Peirce is of necessity an independent medical authority for the City of Houston, and somehow the assumption over the years has been that he is an employee of the fire department and reports to the fire chief, and that is legally not position in which he's in. Now, I did want to talk about some of the good things we were going to be doing this weekend, and this is another 3 minutes with the mayor, where I show up and answer questions from anybody who wants to walk in the door for about 3 minutes. We're going to be out in Sunnyside on Saturday, but this is also one of our periodic Make Safe Saturdays. When I came in, we started Demolition Day, which has been wildly successful. We have also started more recently Make Safe Saturdays. Demolition Day is about taking down properties and cleaning them up and making them safe. But Make Safe Saturday is about engaging in trying to make neighborhood improvements where we're not ready to demolish a property, but maybe we need to secure it. And we have been unable to find the owner and get the proper responsible ownership engaged to cut down high weeds or to take down a dangerous or secure a dangerous building. And so we do a neighborhood sweep where we just go through and do a holistic look at what's in the neighborhood and secure and clean up, secure dangerous properties and clean up blighted lots. These are always properties for which the owners have been cited for city code violations and they've failed to correct their problems, and we do put liens on these properties. Last year we made safe 177 properties. This is a collaborative effort. It uses several city departments, including Public Works, Solid Waste, HPD, Department of Neighborhoods, the district council members, often our local state representatives, state senators are engaged, and we use the tools, resources, and volunteers of Keep Houston Beautiful and local civic associations. So this Saturday at 11 a.m. we will do our quarterly Make Safe Saturday, and hope to have more folks join us. We're going to be doing it in Sunnyside, and we're going to be kicking it off at 4123 Elmwood in District D. Hope to see a lot of folks from the neighborhood at either the Make Safe Saturday or the 3 minutes with the mayor. The 3 minutes with the mayor is going to be at the Johnson Library. So,
Could we
May I have
come
you-
back to the fire department for a second? So you're not interested in hiring new medical personnel as civilians? You're not
those words have
interested-
never come out of my mouth.
Right,
Not once.
right. But there have
But there are
been,
council members who are having those conversations.
but there have been some discussions since the budget problems of perhaps the department can function more efficiently. 85% of the calls are medical. Are resources deployed appropriately? I think you may use the word that we may be oversaturated in fire resources as opposed to medical. What areas are you interested in
Well,
looking
I
at?
tried to do to initiate a work demands analysis in last year's budget for the fire department. The money was moved to the summer jobs program. I'm going to come back again with an effort to look at it. We have one of the best fire departments in the United States, and that was on full display with that horrific fire yesterday. But it is fire and EMS, and in our minds, we ought to start thinking about it as EMS and fire, because 85% of what they do is respond to those medical emergencies. The question is, as we deploy our resources, we have deployed our resources on a fire prevention and a fire response model. And we allocate money that way. We allocate where we station our fire stations. And I'd like us to have an independent look at whether that is appropriate. Not splitting out the departments, or splitting up the major activities, but the allocation of resources and deployment of resources, about recognizing that fire apparatus and an ambulance don't cost the same. Fire apparatus are much more expensive. But as we allocate our resources, right now they're really about 50/50 in terms of capital purchases. All of our firefighters are EMTs, they are not all paramedics. But as we move forward into the future, do we really need to push more toward more paramedics? Do we need to put more capital dollars into a larger ambulance fleet and maybe not grow the fire fleet as fast? Is it appropriate to space ambulances the same distance that we space fire trucks? We space fire trucks based on, it's called an ISO rating. ISO rating is going out of use across the United States. And the deployment model for that might be, we might be better able to station ambulances. Maybe you have a facility that's all ambulances. I don't know the answer to that. I don't want to know the answer to that on my own. I want to bring in the best minds to determine how the second most expensive function that we provide, first being police, second most expensive function we provide as a city, is best served.
What, if any, efforts are you or your staff doing now to look at these questions, research or otherwise?
We did some just internal research on what current thinking is around the country, particularly among the insurance companies, on the ISO rating and whether the insurance companies care. And the answer is they don't. I mean, it is a point of pride that we are the largest ISO certified department in the United States, but whether that translates into better service to our customers, who are the citizens, I don't know. We looked at demographic patterns. We looked at, we need to look at where the majority of the ambulance runs are, where the majority of the fire runs are. Again, maybe a response time on a fire is different from the response time that might work best for an ambulance. Again, I don't know, but we believe that we ought to be doing the best practices and best thinking for them.
And just one more on this. Would you anticipate any shifts in approach in the FY15 budget on some of these questions, or is that something that happens after the working man's analysis is?
I think it ought to. I'm a believer, as I demonstrated for 4 years now, in get the best data, find qualified experts, have them do the analysis and present you with the information, and then you have the opportunity to judge that data and make the local decisions.
Mayor, since yesterday's fire and today there's a historic church burning in the Heights, are you reconsidering?
I'm sorry.
There is on 18th. Are you reconsidering the brownout plan? Is that still the right plan for HMD?
We didn't have any fire apparatus browned out yesterday. I don't believe we have any today. It is
Tony.
the agreement that we achieved with
You mind if I follow up on this before you?
Local 341 seems to be working to hold down the number of firefighters that are off on any given day. It's not perfect, and so there are days when apparatus or either different apparatus are parked, but it's coming together.
Let's say there had been a brownout in effect yesterday. Would that have been a problem?
I have no idea.
But Mayor,
I'm not going to speculate. It is the first vehicles to be, we do an all-hazard response. And so both fire and ambulance go to the scene of most of what they do is medical emergencies. And it is the transport units that were the first to be taken out of service, and that's going to continue to be the case. But I don't make the decisions on what area or what fire station that vehicle is parked. It's made by the command staff.
so Mayor, aren't you at all concerned though? I mean, if you close down or if you brown out, I beg your
So my
pardon.
understanding is that since we did the agreement, there's just been one day
Okay.
of so-called brownout.
Right. But if you do have a brownout, obviously it can affect the response time. Doesn't that concern you at all?
One of the reasons that we do redundant dispatch, one of the reasons that how we deploy our resources with overlapping areas of response is to handle just that. Because as we have seen, unfortunately, fire sergeant going to the scene can have an accident, get stuck in difficult traffic and slowed. And so we do a lot of things to make sure that someone arrives on the scene as rapidly as possible.
But if you get a situation where you've got a fire station, the nearest fire station is near a major
You know, I
fire
could do
scene.
what ifs all day long.
Sure, yeah, but that's part of the job. I mean, it's possible, right?
We made this decision in collaboration and in full consultation with the fire command staff. And again, I want to express my sincere appreciation of Local 341 for coming up with a plan to help us reduce the number of absences so that the goal is not to ever have a brownout.
Mayor,